instantly into Riv Object Octo at Car Nura, one Mihalo Kiso, Common Luke Class Scale. Ta on scale at a scrifa egan braher, into Simul, into Sontasoc, agus scrifa in Yelig, a vi into Sever, agus into Jazz Foster, agus Renew Stager in your shop, nor Hanning Shemak and Green and Hanawine, Mariala and scale of money of the Ach. Benjamin's Talachti, Scale and Gale a VT Fearda, August Nur, the Mihalo Keys of the January coming out last scale, a one-u, Hanawan Garusha, a Geary coming out last scale, a one-u, Akvish, Interchomata, the Afyoch and the Gale of the Foster, August Tagan, Shin Cosiliar trees on your Trilani on your shop, August and Tashlachan, a renew, Egg Nadinia and Shahanach. So, it is a great occasion for me here tonight as somebody who's really interested in the history of the GA and the history of hurling in particular to be asked to come and launch this book. And there are a few things that I would say that are very interesting as a school principal myself. And I know that whenever the Ear Scullery Joeys got together to do a fundraising exercise for the book, I just would have loved to have been a fly on the wall at that meeting when the first person, I'm sure, said fundraising, let's sell some raffle tickets. And then the second person said maybe let's set up a GoFundMe page, the normal things that fundraising committees have. And then somebody had this bright idea, maybe Brendan, no, I know. Let's take that epic book about history of hurling and translate it and sell it to make money for the school. And I think that was really, I have to say, a really innovative idea and something that has us here tonight. And I have to say, Brandon, that I too watched Tony Hanaho in 1977 lift to the stand against my own county, and I determined that night that someday I might come back here and say it's more an honour to the Irish in Bumsa, and Eric. So you're not the only person, unfortunately, that's had your dreams crushed by the universe, and even this week on Sunday, I and others are being honoured as part of the Jubilee Ulster winning team of 1999 at the Ulster final on Sunday, and I was captain that day and my own son is playing, and of course wouldn't it be wonderful symmetry if he picked up an Ulster medal 25 years, but yet again the world doesn't work that way, the universe as a way of crushing your dreams. And also, Dara, it was very interesting to hear you saying that you did get that book, Scale na Homana, the epic story, because when you come in with your father, the book shop was right in front of you. Unfortunately, whenever we used to come to Croke Park with our father, 5 sons and 3 daughters, and my mum and dad, and all of us starving, we weren't just as focused on the bookshop, but on the burger place just right beside it, and that was always our priority. I always remember the burgers from the Hogan stand, rather than this. So unfortunately, I didn't get to read the book, but I have read the translation. And it is, whenever you read through it, you really get a great sense of what we have come from and what the evolution of this wonderful game that we call hurling, that we see played down here in such a wonderful way, and which I have such an interest. And when you look back at the history of the game, and it is so inextricably linked, if you read through it with violence and with bloodshed, and almost at times, I think it's written assassination, and drinking to excess, it is almost reassuring to know how little has changed in all of those years. And I know back when I was young and I was in primary school, we had a very forward-thinking parish priest who realised that we needed to learn the facts of life at an early stage. So in primary 7 we began to learn the facts of life, and I know you're wondering where is this story taking me about hurling. But at that previous Sunday, Silverbridge had played Cullyhanna in a game that was not finished. Such was the intensity of the violence at that game. We're talking way back in the 70s, and I remember whenever we come in, it's all we were talking about, because we were Silverbridge people at Cullyhanna Primary School, and there was a very tense feeling, because the feeling was that Silverbridge, even though it was in Cullyhanna, had got the better of Cullyhanna in the post-match fight. And whenever the priest came in and he was watching the facts of life being taught, and the principal of the school said to one of my friends, Declan McVerry, what is the safe period? And Declan says, sir, is it half-time between Silverbridge? We realised just how much the GAA had filtered into our own lives. And then whenever it came to Silverbridge back, there was a massive crowd there, as there always is. and the local school principal was asked, he had a van, to put carpet in the van to be ready to take the people to the hospital if need be. So right from the throw-in, the first pump was thrown, it was fell on the ground, and he was put in, and the principal shouted out at the parish priest watching, "Father, will go now or will wait till the load?" So this is what we have come from, and thankfully, this is what we have left behind. Though, what's very interesting and another wonderful piece of symmetry, I'm sure, Sean, as you watched Cian Byrne, where are you, Sean, the current principal of Joey's, meet the Galway number 20 by accident or design or whatever, and as he met him on Sunday, not only did he give him concussion, the helmet came off his head and rolled along the ground. I'm sure you were thinking, yes, some things never change in this epic game of hurling, but you definitely give the right decision, like Torch and Carter, Jarlath and Shin. So I could go on and on about the wonderful stories that are in that book, and how, if we want to know where we are going, we have to first find out where we have come from. And this is what we have come from. And I'd be very interested to know about the translators. The word factions is written quite a lot. And for factions coming together to play, and at the end of it indulging in stuff that shouldn't have happened, and even wrestling being a part of the game, and with the two umpires coming to referee the wrestling, and the referee was brought in because the umpires couldn't be trusted at times to give the right decision. That's why initially the referee was brought in to referee hurling. But the word factions, where it came from and where it is now at the moment, well, that's a word that Michael Cusack took and turned it into the word club. And that's why we have these clubs that are based on love of place and this primeval connection that the Irish people have to their home place, and also the hatred of somebody else's place. And that's what keeps us going. That's what motivates us in the GA as much as anything else. And when you listen, there are two people who really shine through in the book, I have to say, and one of them we have named a standout, and that is Michael Cusack, because of course 3 years after he had set up the GAA, he'd been kicked out because he was one of the hardest people to work with, and again that tradition has continued in committees. It seems to be that somebody gets into a committee room to get in touch with their inner fascist, and all flows from that. But secondly, Archbishop Crook, a man who stuck by the GAA right through the formation of the GAA, when the church was against the GAA because we used to play on a Sunday and because of some of the violence, and then later on at the Parliament split, Archbishop Crook, in whose name this stadium is named in its honour, stuck with the GAA through thick and thin, and it is wonderful that we have named the stadium after him. So, in finishing, I want to thank everybody who was involved in this. It is an incredible bit of work, and for me, I'm really thankful that it was done, because I got so much information out of it myself. As I now begin to plan the next chapter of Scéal na Humana, which is the fact that, as a result of the fact, and you agree, it's so clearly said in the book, that in the north they played Come and in the south they played Umanch, that whenever the rules of the game were finally written, they went for Umanch, and as a result the Come largely died out, which was played in the north of the country. And I now have a project called Chumainch, and as you know, the Chumainch is the Irish for drive, and there's also the word Umanch in there, which is a committee which I have set up to achieve clubs, as many clubs as we possibly can in the north of the country, in the line between Castlebar and Dublin. For me, that is the future of hurling. We are not going to have more counties winning Liam McCarthy if they can't compete, and we can't have them competing if there's only 8 or 7 or 6 clubs. So this committee that I have set up, some wonderful people in it who have set up hurling clubs against all the odds, and when I say against all the odds, I mean against the biggest barrier to the formation of hurling in Ireland, which is Gaelic football attitudes. And that is something that they have to break through, and I know that they will, through persuasion and through finance as well. And we're going to make it as easy as possible to set up juvenile clubs. This is a slow burner. I see Jim Gavin's brother here. He is in Jim that's doing great work here, also in the Football Review Committee. That's a much shorter project. The hurling one is a heritage project. It's a legacy project. And in terms of legacy, there is no greater legacy than what has been done here today by the Ear Scullery Joeys. So I congratulate everybody. I wish you all well. And it's for a kid, as an overshot.